City of Kingston,
Emily Flynn,
Town of Saugerties, Town of Ulster,
James Quigley,
New York State Department of Transportation,
Allie Fairley.
New York State Thruway Authority.
Michael Bodett.
Nancy Zhou,
Hi, Nancy. Town of Hurley, Town of Marlborough, Town of Shawngum, Village of New Paltz, Town of Wawarsing,
Joe Steckler.
Town of Kingston, Town of Esopus.
Laura Petit and Roscoe will be here shortly.
Good morning, folks. Good morning, Laura. And Town of Rochester.
Aaron Nanawan.
Good morning. So that is 8 members present. That is a quorum.
Thank you, Brian. We have a quorum. Call for citizens' comments. Any citizens' comments? There's none in the room. Any online? Any comment from council members? Hearing none, we'll move to business. Approval of the March 24th, 2026 Policy Committee meeting summary. I have a motion for approval purposes, please.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. I have a motion. Do I have a second? Mr. Pine, thank you. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
There's a copy here on the table.
Hearing no discussion. Any opposed? Any abstentions? It's so carried. Thank you. Communications and announcements, Brian?
The only announcement I have at the moment.
Metropolitan planning organizations across New York State. We've been working closely with the New York State DOT and learning a new software system for managing the state transportation improvement program. It's known as Project Tracker, and it replaces eStip. So we appreciate the DOT's assistance in providing some training opportunities and getting us up to speed on that process. So hope
did others lose audio?
Yeah, we lost Brian.
Brian, if you're talking, we can't hear you right now. Okay, great.
Can anyone hear us?
now
Yes.
we can.
Sorry, folks, we had a little technical difficulty.
You just gotta switch the video. There we go. All right, we might want to run through this. So those are all my communications and announcements. We'll be learning tracker very quickly, and hopefully it won't create any delays in amendments to the tip.
Okay, thank you. For any communications and announcements from any of the council members? Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 5, new business. Item A, UCTC Resolution 2026-05, Memorandum of Understanding between the Mid-Hudson Valley Transportation Management Area for the Poughkeepsie, Newburgh, New York urban area. Brian?
Yes, it had come to the transportation management area staff's attention that the memorandum of understanding that had previously been approved prior to 2010, back in 2006, had been some time since we had updated it. The Poughkeepsie Duchess Transportation Council did change their name, and we've been through at least 2 decennial censuses since then. So we thought it was a good time to put forth an update to the memorandum of understanding. Resolution 2026-5 includes that memorandum as an attachment. This is to be signed once approved by all three MPOs by the three county executives or chairs of those metropolitan planning organizations, as well as the regional director of Region 8.
So thank you, Brian. And just the reason behind this memorandum of understanding is the fact that the TMA, which consists of the three counties, literally has three MPOs. It's a fairly unique situation in New York State. And so the TMA is responsible for coordinated planning to ensure that the feds recognize that we're doing that. There is a requirement for a memorandum of agreement or a memorandum of understanding between the three MPOs that they're going to coordinate their planning activities for this TMA area. Any questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. This is Emily.
I have a motion from Emily and a second from Mr. Pine. Thank you very much. Any discussion? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you very much. Resolution item B, resolution 2026-06, amendment to the UCTC's federal fiscal year 2026-2030 Transportation Improvement Program TIP to amend the New York State Department of Transportation's PIN number 881584 as shown in attachment A. Brian?
Yes, thank you. This project identification number had already been included on the UCTC tip, but New York State DOT expanded the project as shown in attachment 1. The previous project is at the top at $5.7 million, and the number of locations to be addressed through this culvert rehabilitation and replacement project did increase, and it increased the cost by roughly just short of $4 million. Because of the scale of the increase, we thought it was appropriate to do a full amendment of this amendment, which requires 15-day public notice and comment period, and of course, technical and policy committee review and approval. We did publish the change, and there were no public comments received. The description shown in attachment 1 includes all of the locations addressed through this project, utilizing a mix of state and federal funds.
Thank you, Brian. Any questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Speckler. Thank you,
Thank
Joe.
you. Thank you, Supervisor. Much appreciated. Do I have a second? Mr. Pine, thank you very much for that second. I have a motion and second. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, any opposed? Any abstentions? So approved. Thank you. Item number C, UCTC Resolution 2026-07, amendment to the UCTC Federal Fiscal Year 2026-2030 Transportation Improvement Program, the TIP, otherwise known as, to amend New York State Department of Transportation's PIN number 887754 is shown in attachment 1. Brian?
Yeah, just a minor correction in the title of the agenda. The PIN number is 817754. That's my error. Apologies for that. This is a new project on the Transportation Improvement Program for Ulster County. The funding had been, I believe, block programmed on a separate NPO's tip.
Didn't need a full amendment, but again, did we lose them?
I think the audio is still fine. The video's dying.
Can everyone hear me?
I can
Yes.
hear you.
Okay,
We'll just keep.
So this is a new addition to the Transportation Improvement Program. It did go through public review and comment period. No public comments were received. It does add $6.3 million for a resurfacing project on US 209 from Littman Park to Main Street,
To bring to a state of good repair in the town of Rochester and Woodwarsing.
Any questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll motion Aaron and Owen.
Thank you, Aaron. Much appreciated.
Quigley, second.
Mr. Pine is seconded
Yeah,
again.
that was Jim Quigley.
Oh, Mr. Quigley is seconded. Thank you. I'm sorry to talk over you, Mr. Quigley. I have a motion and a second. Any additional comments or questions? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, it's approved. Thank you very much. Item D, UCTC Resolution 2026-08, apportionment of federal fiscal year 2025 Federal Transit Administration 5307 and 53 formula funds attributed to the Kingston urbanized area. Brian?
Thank you. Public transit providers are provided formula funds through the FTA to provide their services in the region. They are eligible to receive a variety of different types of federal fund sources. 5307 is the most common.
Kingston urbanized area. For federal fiscal year 2025, the Kingston urbanized area is scheduled to receive $2,223,631. Ulster County is the designated recipient. We are the only provider of public transit in Ulster County. Therefore, we're entitled to 100% of that share. for these funds.
Any questions? Hearing none. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Wait, did we get,
Hold on.
We
Do I
didn't
have
get a
motion?
motion.
didn't get motions for that?
Thank you. I did. Thank you. I want to back up. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. This is Emily.
Emily Flynn.
Thank you, Emily. Much appreciated. Do I have a second?
Quigley, second.
Yeah, we have a second. Have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, any opposed? Any abstentions? So approved, thank you.
So we've lost the
We have-
owl again.
We have this, they can hear us,
Oh,
Bill.
we're using, yeah, so just so everyone's aware, we're now using laptops, mic and camera, so apologies for that.
So item E, UCTC draft resolution number 262909.
Blood sugar,
Authorizes
blood
transfer
sugar.
of administrative and management responsibilities for Ulster County commuter bus carrier share of federal fiscal year 2024 FTA section 5307 TMA formula funds to the Capital District Transportation Authority in Albany, New York. Ryan, do you want me to do this? You want me to do this?
Yeah, thanks. I'll kick it off, then you can take it from there, Dennis.
Okay.
I just want to point out to everyone that this resolution was not on the technical committee's agenda last month. And it was brought to our attention late in the game by Capital District Transit Authority, and they requested that we try to expedite the approval of this resolution. So I do want to make everyone aware that it is still draft in that regard. Capital cost of contracting is a tool that the FTA requires folks to use when a recipient's contract for service is to be used by a private entity. In the case of a contractor providing vehicles for public transportation service, the capital consumed is equivalent to depreciation of vehicles. So this is a method that we can use to provide FTA funding to Adirondack Trailways to provide service through a contract that they hold with the New York State DOT. That contract is presently also the Capital District Transit Authority.
So,
Yes.
yeah, as further explanation, understand similar to the resolution that was just approved where Ulster County generated what they call National Transit Database funds for the Kingston urban area. The private carriers that provide service in the TMA area also generate funds. And there's an apportionment process that's used between the three MPOs to apportion those funds based on the amount of money that they earn and they're entitled to a portion of that money, and another portion of that money becomes what is known as unprogrammed balance. In the case of the Adirondack Trailways, there was an RFP issued by New York State Department of Transportation. Trailways was the winner of that bid, and they have a contractual obligation in terms of how much money that they're allowed to under that contract. The transfer here is for that amount of the contract, and the reason it goes to Capital District Transportation Authority is the fact that there is an agreement between New York State and CDTA to administer those funds for this contract. We're in the last year of that agreement, it's my understanding, and the state is in the process of issuing another RFP, and it may be time in that instance that Ulster County Transportation Council and Ulster County itself will take over that administration of that contract. But for now, we transfer these funds up to CDTA. And I would note that these are 2024 funds, not 2025 funds. We do not have a contract to cover 2025 funds as of yet.
So back in 2025, this board approved resolution 2025-5, and that was distribution of TMA funds for the commuter carriers in the amount of $3,016,590. Adirondack Trailways contract authorizes them not to exceed $2,515,000. And so that's why there are two separate funds or dollar amounts shown in the resolution.
Right, and the resolution that we passed, the previous resolution that we passed is carefully worded to allow UCAT or the county itself to maintain those funds and use them for our own purposes within the county. So that's what those funds will be available to UCAT for use. Any questions? I know this is a bit complicated.
Dennis,
Yes.
I have a question in that there is, I'm somewhat confused, and is there an indication that you're going to take in future periods and try to redirect this money from ADT to the county for UCAT?
No, it would not be directed to UCAT. It would be directed in terms of who manages the contract for Trailways.
So in other words, it's not a rededication of the money to another user or another carrier. It's just the administrative issues. Because I recall we had an issue a couple of years ago where we authorized Capital District to take over the disbursements.
Not necessarily the disbursements, but the authorization for the Capital District had to do with how the money is managed.
Right. That's a more accurate statement.
Yeah. The conversation now with the department is back and forth between CDTA and DOT and the county in terms of who wants to manage the contract, and CDTA is no longer subsidizing through their allocation of 5307 funds any of the routes associated with Adirondack Trailways. And so the only source of funding from Adirondack Trailways and the only routes that'll be in the new RFP would be routes that service Ulster County. So it makes sense for Ulster County to assume the responsibilities for managing that contract. And we will have an administrative fee that the county will charge for managing that contract.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah. Any other questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Joe.
Thank you. Thank you, Supervisor. Much appreciated. Do I have a second?
A second, Laura from Esopus.
Thank you, Laura. I have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Excuse my voice. Hearing none. Any opposed? Any abstentions? So approved. Thank you. That concludes.
No, we're on.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have a new item on the agenda, and I apologize. Thank you, Brian. Item F is on the agenda. Our apologies, this came on late. It's a New York State DOT draft sharing agreement. And that draft sharing agreement basically requires an action by a board in order for us to sign it. So Brian, you want to explain that for me?
Right, we are provided all variety of different, really rich data sources from New York State DOT. And are able to use that in our planning projects, for the long range transportation plan or any action or activity that we're conducting. Yeah. In order to maintain that relationship with New York State DOT, they have requested all statewide MPOs to enter into a data sharing agreement, which is outlined here. Unfortunately, it's not in the agenda packet, but it is a 5-page agreement that stipulates some of the requirements that are expected of MPOs in order to accept certain types of data from the department. The types of data that are in question here include pavement score and roughness index, which is a geographic information system, data system for the entire federal aid network. Other asset data, including the locations of signs and condition of signs, guide rail, catch basins, sidewalks, sidewalk ramps, etc., on the state system. And then access to an online viewer called Street Smart Viewer, which I have not had an opportunity to utilize yet, but it's a very interesting viewer that allows users to work through what is referred to as a point cloud and can actually do measurements online through a desktop app to within 2 inches of accuracy, measuring distance. So it's a really powerful planning tool. The details of the data sharing agreement I believe are pretty standard. We need to make sure that we do not share the data without permission and can secure it on our servers to a certain standard. Those are some of the main stipulations.
Yeah, the formal title of this is a privacy protection confidentiality agreement. So what we're really trying to do is make sure that any of these sensitive data sources that the MPO uses for its work are protected, both from a privacy perspective and a confidentiality perspective. Doesn't mean that our consultants can't use them, but it does mean that they can't be released to the public.
Well, this is only information on the state.
I am not sure. I would think maybe not, but I'm not sure.
No, the federal, the pavement condition data is on the entire federal aid system. So that would include local roads as well. They are using essentially a vehicle to scan pavement conditions on a regular basis. And that's what we use for the roughness index.
We also get cell phone data, as I recall.
Yeah, that's not included in this part data agreement though.
Okay, all right. Any questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion to authorize us to sign that agreement?
I'll make that motion. It's Emily.
Thank you, Emily. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Any opposed? Any abstentions? So carried. Thank you. Item number 6, other old business. Brian.
We did have the NP 101 presentation in the last technical committee. I'd just like to again offer, if anyone ever has questions about any of the materials or processes that we use here at the NPO, please reach out, because I'm sure if you have a question, somebody else does too. If there are any questions now, I'm happy to entertain them. Hearing none, UCTC project updates. We have 2 major projects that are really close to getting started. I'm really pleased to report. The first one is the Ulster Avenue and Albany Avenue Corridor Management Plan. We have a engineering consultant, Stantec, nearly under contract to execute that project with us. We're working closely with the city and the town to pull together a technical advisory committee for that project, and we have some great volunteers that are stepping up. And we anticipate project initiation at this point sometime in May, I hope early May. We'll be conducting counts all along the roadway, vehicle turning movement counts, pedestrian and bicyclist counts. And we'll be using cameras to do that. Before we do put those cameras out there, we will have public notification in place, and we'll do direct reach out to some of the institutions that are present in that corridor. And obviously the municipalities will be notified as well. And we'll come up with a good press release so that everyone is aware. The cameras will be going up for a period of time. The purpose of the study is to assess safety and other conditions within the corridor and put forth a variety of recommendations and alternatives for potential improvements for the entire corridor, including bicycle and pedestrian improvements, as well as signal improvements.
Any questions on that? Any other updates, Brian?
The other project update is for the Ulster County Road Safety Plan. We did issue an RFP. We received 11 responses from that RFP from qualified candidates. We are presently reviewing those responses. The road safety plan is a very comprehensive approach to crash analysis on Ulster County roadways, and it's going to be following the Safe Streets for All framework, which is a federal policy and framework and program for addressing crashes on our roadways. So we'll be looking at crash history of between 10 to 15 years across the entire system, just excluding the thruway because they have their own Safe Streets for All project underway. And rating and ranking those crash locations based on crash severity, crash type, crash frequency, and then putting forth recommendations for systemic improvements on our roadways. We'll also be doing a very comprehensive policy review to put forth recommendations for potential local laws to address the topic of safe streets.
Any questions?
That will be about a 14-month project from the point of contract execution.
All system bridge funds from Ulster County Transportation Council, Brian?
Yeah, this is might require a little more in-depth discussion. On the Transportation Improvement Program, Ulster County Transportation Council has over $7 million in funding that has not been allocated to a specific project. Off-system bridge funds can be used on bridges that are off the federal aid system. Or is it off the national highway system?
Federal aid.
Thank you. Off the federal aid system. We were considering releasing those funds. However, there were at least 2 bridge proposals that were made during the last call that were not funded at that time. I believe one was in the town of Esopus for the Valley Road Bridge, and there was an additional one that may not have been funded at the time.
Ulster County.
Yeah, it was Ulster County. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I think the other bridge was an Ulster County bridge.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, okay.
So we will, I think the approach to this fund release would be to first approach those previous sponsors that had submitted projects and that were not funded and ask them if they would like to pursue those projects. And then second, we can re-release the funds through a public notification and open it up to applicants. The potential dilemma is if the state releases Bridge New York funds, that is typically a 95-5 federal and local match, whereas these funds are 80-20 local match. So it's not quite as good. Yes.
Are they eligible for Marchicelli?
Yes, I believe so.
So it could be 95.
So it could be 95-5. That's right. Thank you.
Yeah, it's always a toss-up anymore.
So I will review our records and notify those previous applicants and let them know that the funding may still be available. But we need our local sponsors to understand that this federal aid process is an arduous process. And even though your bridge is eligible for the funding, it may not be the best use of the funds.
Yeah, for those folks that are involved, and particularly, I think people need to realize that the federal aid process is a minimum of probably 3 years. That's the minimum time frame. And if there's right of way involved and everything else, it could go beyond that.
But you want your bridge.
And so just be aware that is the case. Do you have a recommendation, Brian? And we're gonna release and see if the additional sponsors, and then you're gonna do a call for projects?
That is what I'm proposing, yes.
Okay. Does the council have an objection to that? Essentially, we'll notify the current folks that weren't funded. See if they're still interested or not interested. And then B is, if that doesn't use up the money that's available to us, then what we'll end up doing is we'll do a call for projects. Any objections to that? Okay, that's what we'll do. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Brian, Mid Hudson Valley Transportation Management Area, TMA area, I'm sorry, 2025 certification review, the final report's available.
Yes, that's available on the UCTC website under the About section.
Good news.
And yeah, there were no corrective measures, as we mentioned, but they would like us to update our operating procedures to include an update, particularly of our public participation process. So we will reach out to members and look for some assistance. It would be good to have a small subcommittee to review those with us as we work through that. The update to our operating procedures actually requires quite an extensive public notification process. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it has 60 days of public review. We may want to adjust that review period of time, but it's always a good opportunity to review it beginning to end. The operating procedures are only 12 to 15 pages in length. So it really presents an opportunity for us to.
And it has the operating procedures have procedures in them for tip amendments, which we have now incorporated into the tip amendment process rather than through the operating procedures as well. So let me ask a question. Are there any volunteers to serve on a committee to review? Wow.
Volunteer.
Okay, we have one volunteer.
Great. Thank you, Michael.
Michael has volunteered. Anyone else? Supervisor Steckler has volunteered. We have 2. Are we going for 3? Mr. Litz, would you like to volunteer?
I don't know, how much time do you think it'll take?
I would expect we would have probably an online Zoom meeting. And I would run through an outline of recommended changes. We would discuss it and then reconvene. So maybe 2 to 3 meetings tops before we then return to the to the Transportation Council.
So we have 3. Any additional want to serve?
And
That's
was that Laura Petit?
volunteer Sophus, yeah.
Great, thank you.
Volunteer you.
Thank you. So I have Mr. Litz, Mike, Laura, and Mr. Stecker.
Wonderful. I appreciate that
Okay.
very much.
And so what I think we're going to do is when we come to a draft, what we're going to do is rather than have a meeting, I think we're going to hold an office hour and invite people to come and from the council to come and comment on the proceedings. We'll hold a couple of office hours where we'll answer any questions that anybody have, and then we'll bring it in front of the committee, the technical committee, and then put it out for public comment. We'll do it that way.
Now that sounds like a thing to bake cookies for.
Yeah, I'll bake cookies. Okay.
It's on the record.
See that.
The
So,
dicings I can see.
yeah, so thank you.
And that takes care of that. The next item here under old business is West of Hudson Transit Study. There was a meeting scheduled and it was canceled, so they're trying to reschedule that.
Right, but that was an internal meeting, not a public meeting.
That's correct.
I don't have any updates on this
Yeah.
project. I do. The update is that the DOT will be conducting this project, but they have not yet hired a consultant to do so. That's the big update that I got. There's nothing to report yet. I think people are really, a lot of press releases went out. People are chomping at the bit to participate and to become involved, and the project really has not been initiated yet, but it will be. And we look forward to offering more information.
Brian, can you give
And-
one sentence to understand what that covers? What type of transit?
Yeah, sure. It is really important to understand that the DOT is embarking on this process to really examine bus transit in the west of Hudson region, primarily Ulster and Orange counties, and look at commuters and how they can facilitate their daily commute into the metro region, utilizing primarily bus transit. However, I imagine rail transit will be examined as well. So it's really looking at inter-county commuter transit services in the west of Hudson region.
Any other questions? Okay, Brian, when does the council's next meeting?
The technical committee is next scheduled to meet on May 26th.
So put that on your calendar. We'll send a save the date out, May 26th. And then on the traffic safety board,
Monday, May 4th, we have a pretty full agenda. The traffic safety board meets at 6 p.m. in the Ulster County Government Building on the first Monday of every month. So we'll be there.
okay, very good date. Any additional council businesses that needs to be discussed, business that needs to be discussed? Happy birthday. Okay, well, enjoy spring for now. And we'll see you in the third week of May.
And thanks for sticking with us through our technical difficulties.
We stand adjourned.
It is the day of
Business is
Memorial
finished.
Day,
Thank
yeah.
you.